people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new recent reads video. I apologize that my upload schedule this month has been more sporadic than I expected. I've just been more busy lately with homework than anticipated. But anyway, with all that said, I have still been a reading machine, and I have read 25 books this month, which makes it at 290 books this entire year. So anyway, all that to say, the first book on this list is called Serwa Boateng's Guide to Vampire Hunting, and I apologize if I mispronounced that, but this book is a middle grade urban fantasy, which I rated 4 out of 5 stars, and it was absolutely so good. It follows a young Ghanaian main character who hunts vampires and is trying to survive middle school. I really enjoyed this book because, first of all, the world building was absolutely so great and so easy to understand, and it was absolutely so immersive. Second of all, the plot was so intriguing and absolutely so engaging. Third of all, the friend group was so lovely, and all the characters were so individually well developed, and I'm absolutely so excited for the sequel, which I believe comes out next year, if I'm not mistaken. I had such low expectations for this book, to be completely honest with you, because I read A Song of Wrath and Ruin in 2020 by this author, because this book is her middle grade debut, and I was ultimately disappointed by that book, to the point that I never read the sequel, but this book was absolutely so good, and it really exceeded my very low expectations. So anyway, all that to say, I rated this book 4 stars, and I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Ravenfall. This book is a middle-grade urban fantasy that follows a pair of teen kids with supernatural powers at a magical inn with a Celtic creature trying to destroy their world. I had really high expectations for this book, hence why it was on my August TBR, because similarly to the author of Serwa Boateng, this author wrote a YA fantasy duology previously, and I really enjoyed it. So the opposite happened with this book, if that makes any sense. I didn't like this book as much as I was expecting because I didn't fully understand the magic system as the story progressed, if that makes any sense. So for me, the magic system became more confusing as the story went on instead of becoming more immersive. But all that to say, the plot was intriguing and engaging, and the characters were well developed and distinct. But for me, since the magic system was more confusing than interesting, I'm not going to read the sequel next year because I'm not like that interested in it anymore, if that makes any sense. So basically, all that to say, I rated this book 3 out of 5. I much prefer the author's YA fantasy books over this one. Not to say that I'm writing her middle grade books off completely, just with this series alone, if that makes any sense. Anyway, all that to say, I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars, and take that as you will. The next book on this list is called Meet Me in Mumbai. This book is a YA contemporary which I rated 4 out of 5 stars, and it's a novel set in 2 acts, 18 years apart, following a mother and a daughter after an unplanned teen pregnancy causes the mother to give up her daughter for adoption. I hope that makes sense. I had low expectations for this book because I don't think I've ever rated a book by this author in the past higher than 3 stars, so I was really surprised when I rated it 4 stars. I really liked this book unexpectedly because, first of all, the writing was so lyrical and it was absolutely so pretty. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. The perspectives felt naturally connected instead of jarring, and the plot was so engaging and absolutely so intriguing, and the relationship between the mother and the daughter was like so well done and so well developed. This book is absolutely so good, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm so excited for the author's next book next year. And anyway, all that to say, I would highly recommend this book because it's absolutely so awesome and it's so underrated and it deserves so much more hype. So anyway, all that to say, like I said, I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Aces Wild. This book is a YA contemporary that follows a young asexual teenager who attempts to break into a high-stakes gambling club with his online ace friends. I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars, which means that I liked it, but honestly I had mixed feelings, but my expectations were met when I read it, and I had 3-star expectations for this book because on the one hand, I was very excited for the all-asexual cast, but on the other hand, I don't love heist books with contemporary settings, and second of all, I heard mixed reviews about the disability representation beforehand. So anyway, all that to say, I expected to rate this book 3 stars before I started it, and that's exactly what I did. The plot in itself was intriguing and engaging, the characters were well-developed and distinct, the romance, in my opinion, needed more development, the heist itself felt too coincidental and easy, if that makes any sense. The friendships and the family dynamics felt realistic though. I don't really have problems about the disability representation, although I can't speak for it completely because I'm not part of the HOH or deaf community, you know what I mean? But it was so casual that I wasn't aware that the character was disabled until much later, if that makes any sense. But anyway, I now have lower expectations for the author's next book next year. Anyway, I hope all that made sense. Basically, I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars, so take that as you will. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called The Secrets of the Stormforest. For those who don't know, this book is a middle-grade fantasy sequel, and it's the third and final book in this trilogy about a main character who discovers that she can travel to different worlds through suitcases. And honestly, it's been about a year since I visited this world, since I read book 2 last year, and I think also book 1 last year as well. But anyway, despite that, this book was a really fun adventure. I had higher expectations for this book since I rated the previous sequels 4 out of 5 stars, and this book absolutely met those expectations. The plot was so intriguing and so engaging. The world building was definitely expanded upon, and it was so atmospheric and interesting. The characters continued to be well-developed and distinct, although there were a few characters that I didn't quite remember their importance to the plot, but I remembered the most important characters, so I think that I got and understood the gist of the story. You know what I mean? That didn't take away from my enjoyment of the story, although the only thing that I think over the course of the entire series that, in my opinion, needs more development was the sapphic romance, especially in the beginning of their relationship, if that makes any sense. But basically, overall, this trilogy, this series, is absolutely so good. It's so underrated. The queer representation is so casual, and I really, really appreciate it. And the ending was bittersweet and hopeful, and I'm so excited for the author's next book next year, which I believe is called Jamie, and comes out in April 2023. So anyway, all that to say, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I would highly, highly recommend it, as well as highly, highly recommend the entire series overall. So, in conclusion, September has continued to be a great reading month, and I hope that the rest of it will be too. Like I mentioned before, my upload schedule has been more sporadic lately than anticipated due to my unexpected busyness at school, so I don't know when I'll upload a video next, but I'm aiming for at least once or twice a week. Anyway, all that to say, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up, comment down below the rabbit emoji if you made it this far. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye. See you later.